She's walking in this
They went to the other side.
directly. He's ready. So we do experiments on we track the speed and track how many calories it runs. Just for scientific research. Catch that beluga. Back there. See that video? That's where she was born. That's all. That's all the second wall. That one right there. That's all. That video. This one might be 4.5 now. In the event, this guy here is 14 years old. He's off that diet. He's progressing very well. He's the only man that we have. So, male belugas are the biggest. That's the heaviest, hardest, and biggest beluga that we have. And this is Aquarium. She's the leader in the big. New wife too, in last summer was called. Came here from the
I think you're ready for an nappy.
Oh, he just wrapped his nose. Oh, I think the turtle has laying back there.
Oops.
Taking breath and swimming, maybe. Hello.
That's gross.
Going in behind there.
All right, let's find out. You don't want to? You want to go with Aunt Susie? No, you don't want to. Yeah, but it's good. See that big light up there? Look under the light.
What? I'll help you see it.
Right there. Are you ready to get out? Okay, well, just rest right here for a second while they take their turn. Let everybody get a turn, okay? Your skirt?
I think that's a boy and that's a boy, and then the girls are sitting on the neck. Oh, that must be a baby, the one that doesn't fully have its marks? Yeah.
Is that better? Cover your mouth.
Harper wants
Is that better? We can take it off when we get out if you want to. You ready to get out now?
No.
That's just a cushion so you don't hit your head.
Why doesn't want to rest in there?
Okay, well you gotta wait just a minute. Yes,
The
ma'am.
penguins aren't gonna be in the water. You should get a view in those. Those are nothing. Only rocks.
I bet they come down here and swim when they're not resting. They're all resting right now. All right.
I'm gonna go take a close up. Yes?
When they leave that circle, you can go get in it, okay?
Stand under that. Then you'll be able to see.
When they're all done taking their turn. You want to see in that one? Okay, we'll go sit right there and wait so you can have your turn. We can't go that way. Do you want to look out of this one? Thank you so much.
See whatever she wants. She's from Canada. She's from Poland. Places to travel. Go find some other movies. Yeah, we have 4. We have 5. We have 5 now since the end of it came down. Nine plus kilos. We came back from Florida, so we went down to Florida and stayed there, time, and came back to us on the sun. Now we're back again. And then you gotta stay there. This is big. It's like 19. Plus from Canada. So we have Kenya, we have Shiloh. Mixing up with quinoa. That's the man. So the guy, he was actually that was a guy. He looks very good for his life. Traveling me. You've been to every single place. Colorado, Texas, sometimes in Florida he came back here for shelter. He went back down to Florida, now he came back, and now there he is.
They look like they're made of rock.
They look like they're made of skin. That's what they have, skin, fat, and muscle.
Are they getting fed right now?
Guess what? That guy's got 4 sheets. We don't know. They don't tell us. He doesn't tell us. We have Lucas in here, we have one down that just fell out. Bunch of since he's the boss now, he's the big man. Since no one in the United States would like to challenge him, since we only have him as the boss.
He's the king of the cats.
Yeah, he's the king of the belugas. And his paw is the kelp. Yeah, so since no one's here to take his spot, because we need another male security. It's very healthy.
He does. You guys did a great job with it.
Good to see him.
That's the big one.
Everyone's like to be on last week, so
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our Beluga Whale Habitat here at Goldwater Quest. My name is Hannah, and I'm going to be doing our Beluga talk. So if you do want to learn more about these animals and different things that we're involved in here at Georgia Aquarium, feel free to, stick around for a couple of minutes. The talk won't last any longer than 10 minutes, and if you guys do happen to have questions, I will be sure to address anything with a Q&A session at the end. So here in our beluga whale exhibit, you're going to see a total of 5 beluga whales, and you'll also see 3 harbor seals in the habitat on occasion too. Their exhibit holds a total of 800,000 gallons of water that's actually split between 3 interconnected spaces. Now, we can only see into one of those 3 locations. This main pool is usually where they're hanging out because they do tend to be very active animals and pretty social. They love to swim right up to the window and interact with you guys. But sometimes, just like we want some privacy, so do our animals. So when they're swimming off to that back left corner, that's where they're going to enjoy those other 2 pools. Now, by caring about and focusing on the health and well-being of beluga whales, that actually allows us to do a lot of important research to help conserve these animals in their natural environment. A little bit more about our belugas individually. Like I said, we have 5. There are 4 females in the group by the names of Whisper, Maple, Keenu, and Shyla, and our 1 male is Nunavik. Now, Nunavik is going to be the largest of the 5. He's actually all the way in the back now. One of the easiest identifying factors for him is actually the shape of his tail. You're going to notice that it's a little bit more curved than the rest of those belugas. Our oldest female, Whisper, is going to have a couple of indents on her side, near her tail fin. Maple's going to be the slimmest of the 5, and then there's Shyla, our baby girl, who tends to be a little bit more gray, and then Keenu is the other one. She doesn't really have any birthmarks or anything, so yeah, process of elimination. That's how you find Keenu. Belugas, like I said, are very social animals, and there's a lot that goes into taking care of our animals throughout the day. We love to make sure that we have a strong bond between our animals and our care team, which means that in order to promote those bonds, we're going to spend a lot of time together. So through quality time enrichment, as well as training sessions, that is what's going to help us do a little bit more investigation with our beluga whale population. Now, question for you guys out there, does anybody know what I mean by the term enrichment? No? Alright, has anybody heard that word today at all?
Training.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. So, enrichment can mean a number of things. Basically, we're finding ways to change their habitat to help mentally or physically stimulate them. So yeah, training is kind of a way we can do it. But typically what we're going to be doing is providing them some physical change to their environment. So while the rock work may fundamentally stay the same, we can add in enrichment devices or a toy to really change up what's going on in the water. So those enrichment devices are going to be those man-made objects that you see sprinkled around the habitats, and this can be in any habitat, not just for mammals, but for fish too. In fact, this morning over in Ocean Voyager, we had like the little yellow basket sitting by the window at the end for our fish to go into and kind of investigate. So enrichment can happen in a number of ways. Other things we'll do for enrichment is actually give them different animals that they'll see in their natural habitat. That's why the harbor seals live here, because harbor seals and belugas do interact in their natural species as well. Now, training sessions, that is more so to help build the bond between our trainers and the animals themselves. So our animal care team work with these animals day in and day out. They know exactly what behavior is normal for them. So if something starts to change, they can contact our vet team and say, hey, I think we need to take a look at Whisper. She's swimming a little bit slower than normal. Things like that. So what's really important during those training sessions is that we are teaching our animals' behaviors. That's going to make it easier for us to take care of them. So, yes, while it is really cool to see something like our dolphins jumping 20 feet out the water, if we notice that they start jumping 15 feet and then 10 feet, that's an indication that there could be an underlying medical problem. So then we can take that to the vet team. Other things we can do, for example, sometimes you'll see our belugas laying on their back. Well, now their belly is exposed. What can we do if we're looking at their belly? Ultrasounds. Yeah, ultrasounds are really important because it's a mix of males and females. So if somebody's pregnant, we need to know. So we get them accustomed to those different procedures when we're doing those training sessions as well. Now, because the belugas are so trusting of their training team, they are never worried about what's going to go on in their habitat. In fact, they are willing participants in a lot of those research studies that we do. Everything our animals do here in our building is going to be voluntary, meaning that they are making that decision to do whatever activity may be, whether it's being touched by someone in a touch pool or participating in our animal presentations. All of that is of their own will. We're not going to make them do it. But yeah, having that stressing bond is what makes that possible. Now, when it comes to research on our beluga whales, there's a lot that we're involved in, of course. One of the most important studies that we're doing right now is a metabolic study. So we want to have a better understanding of how belugas are using energy in their habitat. So how we're able to do that, if you guys kind of look right above where I am at the top, you're going to notice a little bit of a shadow there. There's an acrylic dome that's sitting in the water, and I can actually record their metabolic rate. So we can have them do a slow swim, a fast swim, an extended dive, and then have them sit under that dome so we can record the metabolic rate for that activity. So what's important is that we're able to do comparison studies. That means we are comparing our belugas here at Georgia Aquarium to belugas out in their natural habitat. What we've been noticing, unfortunately, is that belugas in their natural spaces have much lower metabolic rates than they should. So what's causing all of these changes? Well, unfortunately, humans are part of the problem. So what's happening, a lot of different things. Number one, we're overfishing up in that Arctic region, which sounds crazy because there's a lot of ice, but there's actually less ice in that area now because of how that climate is changing. So that means that we are able to venture further into those locations, means that we're taking away some of those fish. But sometimes the migration patterns of fish are changing because of that temperature change, or because now we're having more cargo ships up in the Arctic. Now, has anybody ever heard a cargo ship before, like in person? Yeah, it's really loud, really annoying. Well, imagine how it is for an animal that uses echolocation. Yeah, it's like 100 times worse. And that's what's happening with belugas. They're hearing these random sounds from cargo ships, they're getting freaked out, and now they're using all of this extra energy to get away from them. Well, that's not healthy. Like, do you want to do a 20-mile run and then eat a potato chip? No, you don't. You're not able to gain back what you already worked off. So we are trying to help change that for belugas. We want more regulations on how people are interacting in those spaces so they are able to continue living in their natural environment. So that's where research comes in. The more data we can provide saying that this is an ongoing problem and these are the ways that we can fix it, now people or more likely our government officials are more likely to help make laws to help protect them. Now there are some things already in place to help beluga whales. There is something really important to them called the Marine Mammal Protection Act that actually started back in 1972. It helps to protect these animals and their natural environment by putting a couple of stricter regulations on it. But, you know, one thing is not enough. It's best to have like multiple practices in mind. So, as we continue providing that data, now we can get more support. But our belugas are not the only animals we're doing research on here at Georgia Aquarium. There's a lot of different projects that we're involved in building wide. Over in Ocean Voyager, we're constantly doing research on whale sharks. We are doing a lot of research on manta rays. In fact, we just recently helped discover another manta ray species, which is another thing that I don't have time to talk about. But if you guys do want to learn more about the different research projects that we're involved in, or the different conservation initiatives that we're doing, feel free to check out that information on our website under that Research and Conservation tab. We want you to know exactly what your ticket is contributing to, so, you know, you feel a little bit more involved. But at this time, I would like to take any questions from you guys, if there's anything else you'd like to know about our belugas.
How much do they weigh?
How much do they weigh? So for females that are fully grown, usually somewhere around 1,800 pounds. For a fully grown male, it can be up to 2,500. Yeah, it's a big difference there.
How much do they eat every day?
How much do they eat every day? Usually somewhere between 20 to 40 pounds of food. It can vary depending on the individual. Since Shyla's a lot younger, she's going to eat significantly less than Nunavik, who is our big boy. These are great questions. Any other questions out there?
So what part of the ocean do they live in?
Yeah, what part of the ocean do they live in? So they're going to be found up in the Arctic. So around Alaska, Russia, Greenland, Norway, anywhere where it's nice and chilly for them. On occasion, they've actually been observed swimming upstream into river areas up there too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so the temperature of this habitat is about 56 degrees. So for them, it's kind of like a summertime temperature. For us, absolutely freezing. So actually physically getting into the water with them is a pretty tough task. You do have to have really thick wetsuits in order to do any work inside the habitat. Now, if you guys just heard that chirp over there, that's actually coming from our belugas. It's really neat. You heard it? Yeah, it's really cool. Alright, well, thanks again, guys, for stopping in and hanging out with me in our beluga whales. If you do have any further questions, I will be hanging around the area with my friend Jocelyn. Feel free to chat with either one of us. But I hope you guys continue to have a whale of a time with us here at Georgia Aquarium.